What's up YouTube, Sam here at Too Many Hobbies. Before we go outside, we're going to go over our plumbing for our rear remote to third function hydraulics, okay? So we're going to pretend this is a piece of hydraulic hose. This is going to be your quick coupler off the back of your tractor, and we're going to go into, this is going to be 1/2 inch ISO or Pioneer, whatever you want to call it, and then we're going to go into a 90. That way when you come out of your rear remotes, your hose isn't coming out and getting kinked. This will give it a natural flow down and underneath. We're going to go up through the hydraulic hose into another quick coupler. Now this is going to depend on what you have on your attachment. I have ISO Pioneer hookup, so essentially this is going to be on the grapple bucket, and we'll be able to quick connect into that. So that's what we're going to do here today. Go ahead and get this set up here. This is a pipe thread fitting here. Okay, you also have the availability to buy ones that are called O-ring fittings. These are all just going to be pipe thread, and again, this is what they call either Pioneer or ISO. This one here was bought as a package of 4, okay, off of Amazon, and I believe these are Summit brand. It's going to be the same ISO hookup, and I think this was $30 for these, because I'm going to end up having to replace the rear on my tractor. My rear on my tractor takes 3/8, and I called 10 different places, nobody has them, so we're just going to switch this over to ISO fittings, 1/2 inch, so we don't have that problem anymore. So if you have a New Holland or one of these smaller tractors that have rear remotes on them, check that stuff before you're running all over the place. They might be 3/8 inch, and you're gonna have to convert that over, or else you're gonna have a problem every time you go to hook stuff up. Okay, we're going to use a couple wrenches, and then you need Teflon tape. You can either have, you're going to need 3 different wrenches. I only have 2. If you're good with math, you can see that. This is a 7/8 fitting, 15/16 inch fitting, and then the fittings on these are 1 1/16. So you can either carry around 3 wrenches or just 2 adjustable wrenches. I like to have just adjustable wrenches to be able to go through this stuff. You're going to put your pipe or your Teflon tape on. Now you need to think about which way you're putting the tape on, because as you tighten this, you don't want to have to, every time you're tightening this, you're taking the tape off. So we want to wrap the tape in the same direction as this is going. So see, I wrapped it this way, so then as you're tightening this, it's keeping that down. And those don't have to be ripping tight. You don't want to break your arm doing it, but they do need to be tight. Now, I'm going to take these off, because I'm more than likely I'm going to have this hooked up most of the time, and then we're going to put these, reuse these on the grapple bucket end, so when that thing's just sitting around, these will be over it, not getting dust and everything else in it. Same thing with your Teflon. Make sure you're going in the right direction. And you don't need a whole bunch of that on there, maybe 3 or 4 times around. Now I'm going to tighten this end all the way up, and then when we get to our other end here, and I put this valve, this quick connect on, we're not going to tighten this all the way up until we get out there hooked up to the tractor. This whole thing is going to be full of air, and if I allow this to just be slightly loose to where then we can let the air out of it, then we won't have all these issues with air in the lines. Then once we get the air out, then we can finish tightening this up. So again, that's going to go into your tractor, out, down, and then that gives it the ability to go underneath your tractor. If you just had this thing just going straight in without this 90, you're going to have a bad bend here, and being in the sun and everything else and stress on it, you're probably going to reduce the life expectancy of this hose. So spend the extra $10, put a 90 on it. Alright, so that's one. You're going to repeat the thing. Again, this is not tightened up. We're going to tighten this up when we get out there, hooked up to the tractor hydraulics so that that can push fluid all the way through. And once that starts pushing fluid through here, we'll tighten it up the rest of the way. That way we don't have air. This is 16 feet, 15 feet of hose. It's going to be a lot of air in the line. Alright, we're about to finish up this other hose. One more quick tip for this Teflon tape. Get your end started here, and you want to have it in this origin, okay? That way as you're wrapping it around, you can keep pressure on it. Otherwise this stuff wants to just roll around on you everywhere. So I can just keep pressure on it. It makes it a lot easier to roll it. Just like that. Alright, so we're outside, and it was a little cold this day, and the wind was blowing just enough to where all you heard was the wind on this microphone, so we'll just voice over everything. You see me just taking off those 3/8 inch ISO fittings on the back, and we're going to switch those over to the 1/2 inch. And again, this is a New Holland TC40, so some of these smaller tractors that have the rear remotes on them, just double check before you start jumping into all this stuff. I had to wait a week for these parts to come in, so if you're doing the same thing, just make sure you have all that stuff before you go in and jump into the project. It's not that big of a deal to switch them over. Alright, so my memory card ran out, and so this is a few days later here after we got everything all set up. So we'll run through what this looks like. And you can see my new lines and everything on the back, and the nice 90-degree that puts on there to where it can go up and underneath the tractor. And then I just got those all zip tied for now. They make rubber straps, tie down straps that I'm going to end up buying there. These zip ties, they're okay, but they're just not as tough. So that runs up to our front remotes. And then you can see I've got white tape on both of the one side there, so that way you know which one hooks up to which side. So I have it to where if I pull back on that lever, it opens it up, push forward, and it goes down. Then there's the grapple. This is a 66-inch Tomahawk grapple I got on it. It's about the perfect size, single cylinder, and it does a really good job. And then you'll be able to see it in the camera here. Everything operating. So hopefully if you are thinking of using your rear remotes as third function hydraulics, this video helped you out. So thanks for watching.